Alex Answer here. It is October 20th in the year 2018. And although I have a new microphone, I'm aware that there are some sync issues, but I think it still beats the other microphone. So there will be other microphones that I will be testing out later in time when possible. So we'll be making what improvements we can. But you know what? Nothing is guaranteed in this life. We don't even know how long we have this platform. Did you hear about the recent shutdown, the recent glitch with regards to YouTube? Now, we've seen a number of these over time, a number of stories that have said, maybe if you have a channel, we're sorry, we can't show you your video manager page, but a team of highly trained monkeys have been dispatched to deal with the situation. It's kind of like a slap in the face. A lot of us have been dealing with technical difficulties for years, and now, of course, demonetization and a lot of things not being considered advertiser friendly. Well, the geopolitical forecast that I've given you as far back as 10 years ago. But as far back as 5 years ago on this channel, I predicted a potential Google plus YouTube doomsday, and my intuition was really going off on the day of the actual merger, right around that time, where it seemed to be almost forced upon us. At least that's what I remember thinking when I was staying in Trinidad, Colorado back in 2013, was the sense of at one point when we reach a certain geopolitical reality, they'll pull the rug. And looking at Facebook, for example, as an example, these social media platforms have become counterfeit ways where people have fought the revolution, if you will, fought the man. To a certain degree, sure, we do share information, but on a social level, people now prefer to spend more time on Facebook and in some cases maybe watching YouTube than doing other things. Who knows? Nothing wrong with watching some of your favorite channels and things all in moderation. Don't forget that you can download programs like this and other channels and things of that nature. You don't always have to watch things live. You don't always have to be on the internet to be watching digital media content. But see, it's not popular to have certain dystopian visions of the future, but so many things that I've foreseen, assumed, I've seen come to pass. From talking about one day in the new world order, there would be cuddle houses. Basically, people have to pay to cuddle because we're so disconnected from each other. And I'm making a statement about that moment in time in 2012 in which I write that. Fast forward, I'm living in Portland, Oregon in my vehicle in 2014. There's an actual cuddle conference. CNN's actually doing promotions for it. Type in Alex Answering Megaphone's cuddle house. I mean, I've done years of protesting over the years. That was totally new, and people were totally upset with that because that was not like typical. I think I'll see where police will enforce, well, you can't raise your voice about that, but you look at Antifa today jumping on cars and other things. Look how times have changed. Selective enforcement. So there's a lot of memories on YouTube, and I've been I discussed at the end of the recent video, one before last, some of the things that are different between myself and others, and a lot of people don't know that, don't know the actual differences between YouTubers, the differences in their morality, their ethics, their understanding. The world doesn't end with YouTube, folks. But I want you to understand, if you care about this channel, not only is your support needed, we also got to think tank and get outside the box of these social media tech giant ghettos. Ghetto life, talking about ghetto life, shadow ban. Gonna talk about shadow banning, talk about shadow banning. And that's what we've got. We've got a lot of wacky, wild stuff, folks, going on in this matrix. So not only is your financial support needed, your innovation is needed. I don't know if the next Steve Jobs is out there. I don't necessarily think that's a good comparison, but we need innovative thinkers. We've seen people rise up, Jack Dorsey, Twitter, Zuckerberg, Facebook, and these other supposed titans in the world of technology. But what about people like yourself or others, or people that have come upon other discoveries that haven't become billion-dollar businesses, but they've contributed something? Anyways, YouTube is a way in which we get videos ideas across, understandings, where we express our truth in a way where that truth may not be so easily expressed at a bar, for example. In a way, YouTube can be a way to peaceful resolution. People can literally have a bias against a certain type of people or group, only to see maybe somebody speak their truth and maybe defeat some of those stereotypes. So though it's only a 2D experience, a flat screen experience. But ultimately, it's been a big step in evolution for the human species to be able to digitally be able to communicate with each other. A lot of people take it for granted. It is unfortunate. And it brings out the dark side also. So we have like this now growing discussion about the paranormal overtones to social media. But because we're connected and there's the sharing of ideas, it's not just darkness, there's also goodness. And then people are able to share their truth around the world. I like the comments that come in. We have someone that watches from Europe, from Poland, and she enjoys also going and looking at some of the previous videos that were done years ago on some of the topics that I'm addressing now. Just to see, just do a comparison. And I want to thank that person for doing that, because you should check out the consistency. Doesn't mean I'm perfect. Doesn't mean the audio quality, the video quality isn't crap. When you got someone living off the grid using solar panels, for crying out loud, I got to use the generator right now to maintain what I've got. And the power that I'm using right now. And while some people might laugh at that, look down at that, I think there's something unique about someone with a YouTube channel who's gone off grid and who's doing it because of the direction that the society is going in. But I've always seen myself, I guess, and I wouldn't say the last days, but during those moments in which things are collapsing, although I like to see things change, but that potentially being a period in which I'm not coming to you on YouTube. And perhaps if we have issues like YouTube going down, we're going to have bigger problems probably to deal with regarding infrastructure and cybersecurity and other things. And a lot of people aren't prepared that even spend their time making preparedness videos on YouTube and telling you to get prepared. There are some people that aren't prepared to deal with homelessness, but they think that they're prepared to deal with food supply and stocking stuff. There are people, including myself, that have prematurely stocked stuff that they weren't able to store long term because they didn't have that level of security, but they had their preps. We have to keep things in balance. And so right now, what is the preparedness plan for a lot of people if there was no YouTube? And ultimately, I don't really believe that there is one. You know, there is a big clampdown coming, and it's really the timing of all this. And look at also my recent video, Trump's statements towards China. I'm not a fan of any of our presidents, but we have a stage managed conflict that is coming as it's become more mainstream, that China has more influence over Hollywood and probably YouTube as well. We have this situation with Google, Dragonfly, and the program that's going to be implemented in China that's alarmed a lot of people. It's alarmed a lot of people on a primal instinctive level, because that level of control could be turned around and used on us. We can wake up one day and have a China-styled internet right here at home. So are these shock tests? Are these shock tests? You know, even Peter Schiff is concerned about the economy. So even though there are people that will misrepresent, they will try to take advantage, just like I saw in 2008, there were people that didn't care about our own individual economics, but there they were on TV saying how to make money real fast on the economic collapse. And it's disgusting. The Kevin Trudeau's of the world, the Tai Lopez's of the world, and others. And there are people that will position themselves to be those that will warn you about World War III and warn you about the economy. And it's really just begun. You've only seen a few versions. You're going to see way more versions and probably new characters you've never heard of with great graphics and presentation. Oh, you're not going to have any complaints about audio and video like on an Alex Ansary YouTube channel. You're going to get all that shoo, shoo, shoo. And if you really get down to it and understand how new TV is to us, then maybe you really think about how it can be used as a tool of hypnosis. We really haven't even begun to really barely scratch the surface with real forms of educational materials that are created via the digital art form or digital technology. I know there's tons of Netflix movies. I've gone through the whole website. I've never had a Netflix subscription till a friend loaned it to me a month ago and my channel was demonetized, and I thought I would get caught up. That's why I mention it quite a bit on all this stuff that's on Netflix that this whole nation world's been focused on. And I came out with a bad taste in my mouth. You know, they'll talk about conspiracies over there too, by the way. And go over to voodoo.com and check out their documentary and watch all different types of alien invasion documentaries. So in the end, it's not so much the conspiracy meme that's going away. It's the potential alternative versions. Are you prepared for the dark ages, for the post-YouTube world? I'd like to be, but I'm not. I think ultimately we're going to have more serious issues when the hammer starts dropping by that point in time. Sure, we could just go into a Orwellian nightmare that's masqueraded as a big pharma enhanced happy reality where everything's sanitized and the drugs are almost pumped into the air. Yay! But no, I think it's going to come with a bang. Yeah, I've been discussing this. Other people have their channels where they share their truth about the cascade of events. You know, hey, we all don't have to group up at the same shelter, at the same property. I think it's beautiful that there even are different emanations of intelligence and consciousness. I'm disappointed in my so-called peers out there on YouTube that there isn't more of a we're in this together type of mentality. In fact, a lot of people have been easily divided, either into the left or right, or they have chosen to use technology and YouTube and social media and to gather support for their own, I guess, micro ideas of what the truth is, how it should be presented. A lot of things revolving around a few people's ideas. It is the nature of humans to follow other humans. So kind of what I'm critical of. Don't take it personal. It's more the human condition that we're in. The herd behavior and the tribalism. And ultimately, with all this technology and all this information, people still have not overcome that. People still have not overcome their love of their football team. People have still not overcome their love or strong disdain of particular political groups. And so people are less prepared to deal with what's coming than ever before. And in fact, I was way more worried years ago because I really wanted to position myself in a place to help a community. And now that these geopolitical things are brewing, they're brewing in the aftermath of the fake news epidemic, where we've already seen practice with innocent people, in my opinion, in a lot of cases demonized, called ISIS when they weren't. And people not even going, wow, yeah, we actually took part in that. Yeah, we regret that. That's probably not good. We're not even a society where people are adult enough to even do things like that. That's how morally bankrupt we are, right? Talk about relationships being bankrupt, and people may applaud that because maybe it makes them feel good to see certain programs exposed until maybe their program's exposed. Then things get a little bit uncomfortable. One reason I'm trying to bring light to this is so we can have healing to this and have healing between ourselves. Because, you know, in the end, when there is no technology, all we really have is ourselves. I might even have to relocate. Perhaps I'll have some new allies at the time. I really put a lot of things in the Creator's hands. I think that one thing is certain. I think that it's probably bad juju for us to get into too regular of a habit of judging others and saying that others aren't prepared. People should be prepared. We should encourage them to do that. But whether one prepares spiritually or physically, these are different ways in which someone could express themselves. Some people are drawn to growing food. Some people are into relocating. Some people get more deeper into the spiritual path and talking about the nature of the soul's journey. Whether they're reading on air their channel, the Egyptian Book of the Dead, whether there's someone else saying maybe we should work to live before we die. You know, maybe we should work to evolve beyond a certain level of apathy. There are certain people out there that have these massive platforms. They have hundreds of thousands of audience members. And I think that some of these people are conscious of the fact that if they actually talked about the victims of war overseas, that they would lose a massive amount of their listenership. Or that if they were talking about those things early on, that they wouldn't be as big as they are. And some people, I think, are intelligent enough, because human beings are intelligent, doesn't necessarily make them spiritual. Human beings can also have psychic epiphanies. Doesn't necessarily make them higher vibration or a higher energy. So someone could, take this knowledge and use their brain to make themselves a lot of money in this world and accrue a lot of material possessions. And some of them, I've used a few people as an examples, will build their platform up to monumental levels while branding themselves as victimized by Google Incorporated. Truly. While actually having businesses, thanks to Google and the AdSense. So, I mean, this is a very inverted world. It is very much like a high-tech Tower of Babel. And a lot of people don't want to look at that. They'll talk about it, but they'll do it if they can blame the Democrats only. Or the Democrats or leftists or people in the major cities, in some cases, will do it when they can basically burn an effigy of Trump. But they're not going to take accountability as they burn an effigy of the president for all of the silence of the last several decades, the ways in which people have been bullied in this society if they were a little bit too critical or seemed a little bit too radical, criticizing the police state, foreign policy, things of that nature, the technological control grid, where things are going, questioning where the money is, questioning what's really going on in space, top secret space exploration. What is really going on? Are we really alone in the universe? So it's like YouTube has been somewhat of a social experiment. And we've also had a chance, since what YouTube's been around 12 years, to really see like almost the best. Like, no, it's not an arena to where they will just censor anything. They will bury stuff, but there's always been an ability to upload stuff. And a lot of people have had a lot of practice saying, YouTube banned it, oh my God, it was exposing the reptilians or something. When you look over here on YouTube and there's all kinds of videos about all kinds of stuff. But again, this platform will promote, in a lot of cases, the most sensational.